Who's familiar with the Maslow pyramid of need? Do you know that? Oh, great. I see many people who have learned a lot in management school. So can you tell me what's at the very bottom of the pyramid? Sorry? So food, you know, things like food, water, basic needs, okay? That's the most essential things you need in order to survive. People can only go without water, I think, for maybe 48 hours or something like this. So that's a really basic thing. What's next? Once you have the food, what are you going to look for? Shelter. So we can call this safety. So the idea is, you know, you first get something to eat, you get something to drink, and then you want to feel safe and protected and not attacked by your enemy, so you need to make sure you're safe. What's next? Once we're safe, what are we looking for? Relationships. So social relationships come in after. It's only logical. You know, you first want to eat and drink, then you want to feel safe, and then you start thinking about having a family, friends, socializing, finding a spouse, and things like that. And, you know, your client would come in on that third level as well if you're creating relationships. So what's at the very top? Very good, self-actualization. So the idea is you get the food, you feel safe, you take your social needs into account, and then once you have all that, you start thinking about who do I want to be, what do I want to become, what do I want to do with my life. The problem with this model is, even though everybody knows it, and a lot of economic theory is built on these kind of ideas that people think like this and people act like this, it's all wrong. I could go like this. So why is it wrong? Because we are wired to be social. Our social needs here should be at the very bottom. Why should they be at the very bottom? Because as creatures, we don't survive on our own. The baby is not born and goes right away into the forest to collect berries. People don't survive on their own very long when they're in wilderness. From an evolutionary perspective, we used to live in small tribes of maybe 150 people, and then we protected each other. If you were excluded from that group of people, that was a death sentence. Okay? So today, I'd like to show you that social relationships are so essential to our brain that they should be at the very bottom. So your client is not just somebody nice to have, it's actually something, you know, that is wired into our brain, our desire to have great relationships and the pain we feel when we don't.